Let's get into picks and bans for game number 3 and see how Space Station respond here. Trifecta again in the driver's seat, or at least the first pick and ban. Space Station really like being on the other side.
It seems that way, but they've been able to adjust well enough most of the time. I really feel like Space Station, last game, they banned away Terra and Giannis. I wonder if they're going to continue to ban that Giannis, because Metyankey's looked so much better on Agni in comparison to every other character he's played. I think Space Station, if they're banning a mage, it should be the Agni.
I'm right there with you. Terra still going to be banned out. Uller taken away by Trifecta alongside the Giannis. Yeah. So that leaves Space Station to choose, and I think Space Station should ban the Agni here, honestly.
Could be Nemesis as well. Nem, very good, and that will be the pick to ban away, at least. That was what they banned in game 1. Mass didn't look nearly as good on that Ratatoskr. Now, if I'm Trifecta, I think it's tempting to first pick the Agni here, just to make sure that Space Station doesn't take it away from Metyankey. Last time they went for the Ganesha, and it worked out, so yeah, they'll go right back to it.
Ganesh can really shut down certain selections, and Ganesh can force your hand in a certain way as well as far as the draft is concerned. So by Trifecta picking this first overall, whether or not it's first pickable in your eyes as far as power level, that's a different conversation. Trifecta now basically say, you're going to have a hard time picking ability spammers and stance switchers, and we can do that all day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not. I didn't argue with it. Game 2, they got the picks that they wanted. They'll probably get Agni here, which they will. So they're still sitting a-okay in my mind. Space Station goes back to this Soul. Since Soul's nerf, I really haven't seen a great impact from her. I really feel like it's time to stop prioritizing her as much. I wonder if Space Station's going to put her in mid or in Hunter. At least stop building the auto attack build for Soul. That's the big thing. Is Soul could be built beforehand, either auto attack focused or ability power focused. The part that got nerfed was the auto attack, and the ability power is still very good, and players are just going objectively harder to execute on build now than they were before, when both were possible. Right. Why not just go for the one that didn't get affected as much? I don't understand.
And if you build into that if you build just traditional mage with all that power, that's still going to translate over to the basic attacks.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, I still actually, I don't know if you, I like full mage Demo Grip.
I'm pretty sure Demo Grip is just bad.
Really?
No, because if you're...
Because you're going to be weaving those basics.
Right, but it's what, like 60 power? It's nothing. It contributes so little, it's giving away an item slot, it feels like.
I mean,
going
I guess
full,
so.
You just...
Because you're
getting your attack speed anyways from your passive. You're not really worried about that. Just worry about dealing as much damage with your 2-4 combo as you can, and then yell at your support to buy you a Shogun's Gasari. That's the way you do it, I think, right now. With
I'd agree with that last one, especially with a Hachiman, though. This lines up here. Athena can go, or the tank can go ahead and buy Gasari. Hachiman going to drop the banner as well. These feed into what Soul kind of needs to be successful. So I like the draft here. Trifecta, on the other hand, Camazotz and Chulainn one more time. Give Scary D, the big boy. Love this draft from Trifecta. I'm not sure about Mask's Camazotz, but Mask in general is a strong player, so I have no reason to doubt him. I really, really like this draft from Trifecta. Frankly,
the same draft.
I think Trifecta can win this game.
I think they can too, but Nem was so critical to that last team composition. I don't know if they're going to find the same success here. It's the same draft. Sub in Camazotz for Nemesis because I was banned away by Space Station, and I really feel like that makes all the difference.
That's a huge change.
I really feel like that is the difference that Space Station needs to win this game.
Well, looking across at Space Station, they're going to have the Ratatoskr in the jungle. Most likely, we'll see if it's Aquarius on the Rat or the Achilles. Which one are you expecting from Aqua's playstyle?
He played Achilles very well earlier today, but so did andinster. I think I'm going to side that Ratatoskr is going to go into the jungle, though. It just feels like a more traditional sort of team composition. Achilles likes to, or excuse me, Aquarius likes to do some weird stuff from time to time, but I think they're going to slot in the warrior in the solo lane. Achilles is the warrior.
See, Ratatoskr doesn't, shut up. Ratatoskr doesn't really fit, it doesn't feel like an andinster god to me.
It's close enough to a Thor ultimate, and anything close enough to Thor ultimate is an andinster god.
All right. What do I get if I win?
I will give you a firm handshake.
Ooh, okay. Well, let's see if I get that firm handshake. Ooh, from aggro. Bring us game number 3, please, and thank you. It's John Finch, and it's Anatoly.
You just told him to shut up. What does he owe you? What? Tom and Aggro on the death. Thank you for breaking it down, I guess. It's going to be Finch and Tola here going into Game 3. Maybe not expecting it here between Trifecta and Spacestation, but Trifecta have taken Spacestation to the brink.
That's true. It's going to be a spicy one here in game number 3, honestly.
Yeah.
A lot of history between a lot of these players here. Getting in each other's heads there a little bit. Andinster getting a little bit ahead of himself in game number 2.
Right.
Trifecta really understanding that, kind of using his own momentum against him.
And we talked about this already. Spacestation do not want to go into LAN on 2 set losses in a row. So let's see if they can turn this one around. But what about you? Who's taking game 3 here, Mixer Chat? Vote for us in the poll and let us know.
They thought Spacestation was going to win that game 2 very convincingly. I think it was like 85% or something like that. But either way here, game 3, who knows?
Yeah, get it together, chat. Pick this one right.
We're looking at you, chat.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, I'll cut him some slack, though. I thought Spacestation was going to win, too. I'll cut him
Hey, if you guys get it right, you're going to get a firm handshake from Aggro. Each and every single individual one of you.
Yeah, everyone in Mixer gets a firm handshake from Aggro. That's an Aggro guarantee. And I say it with my corny Aggro grin.
Put a little Aggro cheese smile on that one.
It is going to be, though, Andinster playing the Ratatoskr. I know there's a little bit of thought about where these picks might end up going, but Aquarius is going to play that Achilles one more time. Baskin has the soul in mid lane. I think that might actually be the bigger storyline. BaRRaCCuDDa very comfortable on this soul. He does like to play it.
It's true. BaRRaCCuDDa does like the soul. Even since like season 3 when he was always flexing that pick, when his mid laner back then was Tronics, they would always pick between the soul and the Jing Wei, kind of flex pick it depending on where he kind of wanted to go here. But yeah, season 5, he could still swap things up here, playing the physical hunter, and I like it because you're really looking for that long-range, easy clear here as well. I think that the Hachiman is super safe on that mounted archery, being able to disengage, or even just trying to take a stroll down the dual lane and chasing down Zap that doesn't have any gap closers in his abilities.
Looks like chat's putting their firm handshake opportunity onto Spacestation. Really trust the Spacestation to get that for him. So 75% still believe in Jeff and BaRRa. The few, though, have switched sides over to Trifecta. And while we're on that side of the street with Trifecta, Mass playing the Camazotz. And I don't know, Tolly, I feel like Camazotz kind of fallen off a bit here lately. Maybe like in this last week or two, we've seen a little bit less of
it. Depends on how you're set up by your long-range abilities. Metyankey being played... Well, the Agni, I think, has the potential with the bomb stuns to set up the long-range poke. Now, no one else really has a great setup. Like, I guess NeiruMah can easily look for the dash knockup. But other than that, like, that silence doesn't really help Mass guarantee some of his long-range poke.
So we'll see if Mass will be able to make the best of this Camazotz here in the mid lane. I feel like when Camazotz does best, it is when he's doing damage mostly. Sometimes those tanky Camazotz builds don't quite get off the ground. So Mass in the jungle, where he likely can build some damage, gives him a good shot. As Baskin moves up a bit, and Mask is right here waiting.
He definitely has a lot of heat there, doing a lot of damage to those minions. And yeah, Camazotz specifically has a lot of scaling. 130% on that Vampire Bats, the second ability which heals you. So wanting to build a lot of damaging items there. Not the easiest ability to hit, which is why sometimes you want to rely on some setups or just to trust yourself to hit that without this setup. But the further you are away from your target, the easier it is for the opponent to juke against your ability. It is missable, and that's why we're seeing Camazotz less often.
Gonna need to be accurate with those abilities is Mask, because he's gonna have a tough time going up against Spacestation and this very global composition that they put together for themselves. JeffHindla on the Athena and Andinster on this Rat can get around the map pretty darn quick.
It's like when you think about basketball, right? A lot of successful teams are better in the paint than they are in the three-point for the most part.
True.
Like, yeah, you can win games by taking a lot of three-point shots, but are you going to win championships off of that every single time?
I get where you're coming from. I mean, like Golden State, but they're very much an anomaly.
Sure.
This squad. Sure. So I get what you're saying. You know, there's some teams that do better in one area than the others, and there's some that are kind of like staples, you know, that are considered like the way to play it. And that same thing sort of translates over to Smite as well. So we'll see if this global composition can be that here for Spacestation in this game.
Not really much action in the dual lane, but in the solo, Andinster looking for the bait.
And the target is going to be Scary D, who's very, very low and not even going to be able to make it back over to the tower line. Andinster even chuckling a little bit as he takes his first blood and looks for more in the jungle. Important
to gank out this Chulainn before the level 5 there. That CC immunity is so difficult to kind of really avoid there.
So, are we seeing 2 warriors in the solo lane again?
Yeah.
I had a double take there for a minute.
No Guardians.
Been a minute, huh?
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of Guardians over here lately, but hey, this means that you get to see some action between these warriors. In these early levels, these warriors with a little bit of help from the junglers can certainly find some kills, and that's what Andy and Aquarius have done.
I mean, it was Chulainn against the Odin in the last game.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, who's Odin? Why is Odin here? Totally, you're right, but I want my point to be right, so I'm ignoring what you're saying.
Fair enough.
That's what's happening right
See, I would do the same thing if your name was Thomas Banninger.
But Tom is wrong.
Exactly. That's why I would not listen to you.
Yeah, but you don't.
But you're
need
not
to
Thomas Banninger. You're John Finch.
Right, but you don't need to ignore me because I am. Tom's wrong. You can just tell Tom he's wrong. So it's easier. But with me, I have to ignore you because I actually am wrong. You're right. We saw the Odin last game and totally checking me on broadcast. At least one of us is right. Thank you, Totally.
You know, got to help each other out every now and then.
Yeah. Come in to make sure that we're keeping everything accurate. Still, though, Andinster's back in the jungle getting the back Harpies, but Mask is here splitting the wave with Metyankey. So Baskin, as long as he doesn't end up under stress here from this presence, is probably going to come out a bit ahead getting all this solo farm.
I think that's all that they really need here from the dueling out of Space Station, just looking for the clear and not even worried about really invading the buffs as it's going to come up in less than a minute. It's all about denying this gold under the tower here. BaRRaCCuDDa getting some pot shots onto NeiruMah. And keep in mind here that Andinster is level 6 here with that global ultimate. Can easily look for that left-hand rotation, and he's hiding between the mid and the left side. It doesn't seem that Trifecta understand where he really is.
Rainfire's used for Metyankey. If he doesn't know Andinster's here, he's still playing very, very safe. And Baskin kind of giving it away maybe a little bit by putting so far at the tower line, but this is what they really want. They're going to be able to take the red buff.
So methodical. Space Station, Andinster specifically. He was just in range to absorb that golden experience in the mid lane, and in case the Agni dashed offensively, right around the corner, Andinster would be there to bail out Baskin. And now he's in position to invade the red, invade the back camps, looking for the purple, but right behind him is Mask.
Yeah, got to make sure he's careful. The collapse is going to be on. Defender of Olympus means there's going to be a lot of mitigation right on top of the Dharmic pillars, and the Bat of the Hell's coming through as well. But BaRRaCCuDDa rotates in and takes down NeiruMah. Up in the air is Baskin, or rather Andinster looking for someone to find. But yeah, Scary D takes down Aquarius in solo.
Wow, Scary D doing work there despite dying for the first blood, paying the favor here. JeffHindla, though, in a little bit of trouble. Will disengage the blink from Andinster. He's chasing down Mask, forcing out the beads, getting a little bit of heal here. Needs to connect one more ability, but it's Zap that's going to get turned on instead.
Taunted right back in, and BaRRaCCuDDa has the last in hand they need. Space Station find yet another kill. 3 total for the SSG squad. And yes, maybe able to just barely make it out of there is Mask, but it's too late. The kills have already happened.
That is so unfortunate here for Mask when he was flanking out. Hold that thought, though, because in that solo, and here's the replay.
Yeah, Scary D is trying to find this kill here right now. I think it's able to avoid the execute is what's important, and gets pushed back in for the tower shot. Exactly, yeah.
He was an execute threshold. He got a little bit of sustain from that health chalice from the HP 5 as well, doing a lot of work to be able to bounce back in the laning phase. Such an important kill there. And as a result now, sitting with a 1-level lead, but still getting bullied. That is absurd damage.
That is obnoxious, isn't it, Holy? And not even going to be able to back here is Scary D in the solo lane. So Aquarius, despite Scary D being able to find that kill, is not done putting damage into this Chulainn just yet. It's risky, though, to go for those executes right at the tower line.
I agree, for sure. He had it calculated here, but this time...
He did it again? The ult's down. He must have done it again.
Oh, man, not like this.
Feels bad. 0-2-1 now for Aquarius. And I was singing his praises, what was it, game 1, about how Aquarius has made this transition and turned this corner. Now, though, getting punished a bit by Scary D in solo.
Not the play here. Like you try once and you fail. Okay, try to go for it again. Nice little reaction here from Zap, using that CC immunity. Even gonna deter Andinster from looking from that ultimate.
That's the ultimate down from Andinster, and of course the ultimate down from Aquarius too. So a couple that'll relieve the pressure that Space Station could put on. But Zap has been on point using the Caledonian Boar when JeffHindla dashes in, and late playing the trap underneath it. We've seen him kill JeffHindla on that exact same play before.
That's very true. Now without the ultimate here from Zapman, this could be a go for BaRRaCCuDDa to look for an offensive play for himself. where Aquarius is unsuccessful in one side lane, BaRRaCCuDDa can be in the other. But honestly, with all the damage Aquarius is doing onto Scary D, oh, hold that thought.
This is the time to go in. Zapman's done. He didn't have the ult and he didn't have beads either there, totally. So that time they were able to find the kill.
Just too much pressure onto Zapman. Where is the help there? It's not like Defender of Olympus was used all of a sudden around the corner of BaRRaCCuDDa dashing around the wall. They were straight up at Zap's tower line.
Now, Neil's here in mid lane trying to make sure Metyankey doesn't get out-pressured by this soul, I suppose. Baskin, and we haven't talked about it yet, has really controlled this mid lane as the commit is heavily on stun lands. Damage from Defender of Olympus is here as well. Scary D now already down to about 60% HP and away too far from his tower line and from any kind of support. Aquarius takes down Scary D.
Couldn't really go south there, unfortunately. That was not the safe option. So he bought as much time by moving north, deterring Aquarius from getting a little bit of farm there, just for good measure there. So yeah, trading back and forth is these two solo laners overzealous at times.
More action in the jungle. Bombs come out right into the Dharmic pillars. Already Baskin's been deleted by Mask. Andinster's up in the air, but that's too little too late. The kill has already happened. What burst damage from Trifecta.
All right, Trifecta. Now they're grouping up here. This is the Trifecta that started to win in Game 2. When they expected the aggression from Spacestation, they made the counter plays. And 4 members of Trifecta waiting around the corner did so much damage onto Baskin, he didn't even have time to really go in that disapparate form.
And that's what they needed. Metyankey just now ticked over to level 9, where Baskin was already level 10, and that was farm he was getting while Baskin was in the grave, essentially. Baskin started to really build a lead for himself in the mid off this soul, so anything to cut into that really is going to help.
And with the Warlock staff, it's going to grow even further. With all that burst he took that last time, I don't expect it to happen yet again by having that extra health. Zapman didn't have vision, I don't think, inside the purple buff pit, so he kind of just dropped a blind 3, hoping it would find the last hit secure. Nice try.
That's the last thing he could cling on to because his tier 1 tower is no longer standing. It has been rough for Zapman and Duo. They put so much pressure. I talked about Baskin's lead, but look at BaRRaCCuDDa's.
And when you're this far behind for Zap, the only thing you could do is literally AFK in the duo lane. Soak up all that experience. Don't even last hit. You don't want to even push it too far outside of your tower. That's exactly what he's doing here. He does have to last it because he has Devil Glove stacks to worry about here. So really trying to force the hand of Spacestation out.
But this is what I always wondered. These early tier 1 towers can sometimes be relieving for the player that's behind because they can get their farm a little bit safer as the aggression goes into NeiruMah. He's inside the Dharmic pillars. Not able to find the last shot is BaRRaCCuDDa, but andinster going to be able to bring it down no problem. Even pausing for a moment, loving that he was able to find that kill. NeiruMah got to sit down.
He actually landed on a trap, surprisingly enough there. JeffHindla going to eat a little bit of poke for his trouble. Metyankey with at least one more bomb could steal this objective.
Gold Fury being looked at, but they've dropped it entirely now. Has Spacestation. They're going to take the fight instead. Dash, two-man taunt into the supernova from Baskin. Oh, where'd they go? It was all courtesy of the JeffHindla and Baskin combination. Now they can turn back towards the Gold Fury, and they'll even let andinster go in and try and strip away a little bit of jungle. He's not needed here.
Okay, I'm sold. This Athena, top tier. We're gonna see it a lot more often here. Like we've seen Sobix more often from the Flux, Athena can do just as good, if not better, with these little corridor fights, escaping members, easy double taunt there, forcing the bees out of Mask, or the ultimate rather out of Mask as well, off of one taunt.
And all that damage is Baskin's, but I don't think he got any of those kills, it looks like, 0-1 and 3, so certainly helped out in that fight, but BaRRaCCuDDa and andinster are able to find those last 2 hits they need. Still, though, Spacestation have responded to the game 2. Look at this, almost a 5,000 gold lead already, totally.
It's just a huge performance out of them. They really leaned on the dual lane, and Trifecta didn't really respond the proper way. They got a few kills there in the solo lane after the over-aggression from Aquarius. But after that, Trifecta really didn't do much.
That's a good point. 2/3 of their kills are from Aquarius, almost throwing his life away, missing the ult. The ult's not easy from the Achilles, I'll say that, but that's where most of their kills are from.
They did one great play, keep in mind, onto Baskin when they caught him overstepping into their own red buff here. And Trifecta are so far behind, they're not even interested in contesting this Pyromancer. Looking at the vision of the mini-map there, I don't think that they have it inside the pit. They only have it on the outside perimeter.
Well, they had to have known that that's where Space Station were, but instead they were hugging the Tier 1. Trifecta really are not comfortable stepping out of their jungle, and I think they're right. This lead for 12 minutes is actually pretty large. It's difficult for them to fight into the Space Station roster, and particular JeffHindla's
not like this here. The beads to stop the stun from the board, dashing forward aggressively with Defender of Olympus. This is why Hachiman is so heavily prioritized. Mounted archery will chase you till the end of the world.
1-0-7 for JeffHindla, part of 8 kills, and can potentially try and make it a little bit more as Mask is up in the air but forced to retreat. Metyankey falls, Aquarius finds the hit and he's not done yet. Execute might not land, but andinster's there to finish off the last one. NeiruMah now stuck underneath the Tier 1 tower, taunted, controlled, and deleted. Aquarius finds the hit. It's a double kill for the solo laner. Stun! That gives enough time for Baskin to make it out, and ScaryD is the one in danger of getting collapsed on now.
Oh, it might be BaRRaCCuDDa, but instead he's dashing away. Tier 1 tower crumbling here. And honestly, Finch, hold that thought though, because he's still aggressing forward there. 1v2. Rotations on the left for BaRRaCCuDDa to pick up the red buff. Trifecta, they didn't have beads when the Pyromancer was going down, now that I think about it. And they were so worried about the potential dash taunt from JeffHindla. This Athena pick is keeping the game just shut down.
There's nothing Trifecta can do. I mean, is that gold lead? What did I say it was 2 minutes ago? Literally 5,000. Well, now it's closer to 8,000 or 9,000 as Aquarius continues to bully ScaryD in solo lane. It's very, very difficult for Trifecta to step even a toe out of line, or they'll get taunted in and controlled.
And Space Station know how to build off of this lead. They see a 3-level difference here between these two hunters. Lean on that duo lane a little bit. Zapman playing the Artemis. Despite how much he loves redheads, he's not going to be able to get away from the red-headed BaRRaCCuDDa Hachiman.
No, that Hachiman's creating too many problems for him right now, so has to make sure that he's playing safely back. But he can't. I mean, for a moment, he stepped up to try and farm that wave, and JeffHindla and BaRRaCCuDDa chased him right on down. So problems for the hunter for Trifecta. But it's not just him. Almost none of them have been able to find solid footing in this game so far. 11-16 for Mask and andinster.
It's looking really grim and dim for Trifecta here. Not the best way to end, but honestly, they can always take some positives here at the end of the day here, trying to really find their footing. At the beginning of Season 5, this roster is, newly formed. And keep in mind here that in week number 1, it was also Space Station that found the victory 2-1. So still some learning curves for Trifecta.
The fight is on, and Zapman is yet again the target. Doesn't have the movement to get out of there, and BaRRaCCuDDa finds the last hit. Up into the air is andinster. He's looking for a target, and the target's going to be Metyankey. Finds the kill underneath the tower. Mask is up in the air, but he can't afford to come down, or he might just get blown up himself. ScaryD is trying to be the front line, but he gets shredded by the damage from BaRRaCCuDDa. Aquarius is the one that finds the last hit, but already it's 3 for 0, and Aquarius can't be stopped. Doesn't find the execute, but does find NeiruMah.
Oh, the juke here from NeiruMah right at the last second. Won't be put on the highlight reel for that one there, but still getting at least a Tier 2 tower in kind here. Space Station are really running away with this one, abusing the under-level Trifecta members, where most of them don't even have a second relic yet.
Taking the Tier 2 tower, taking the red buff, and now they can all kind of just wait for a moment for the Gold Fury to drop down into the world, only to be immediately slain by these incoming auto attacks from BaRRaCCuDDa. Spacestation Gaming 15-3. 5 times really out there ahead in the kill count, and the gold count's even worse at 12,000 here. Before we even get to the 17-minute mark, Trifecta, it's going to be really hard to fight into this.
All the cogs are just turning here for Space Station. They've been through it all here. They have the timers of every buff, of every Gold Fury objective that they really need. Not going to drop any little thing here to Trifecta to allow them the potential to even come back here. I wouldn't even be surprised with this kind of a goal lead that we see a 17-minute fire giant, Finch.
It would make sense to me if Space Station want to come down here and grab it. Pyromancer will be up in a moment as well, so they'll have even more to claim on that side of the map. To ScaryD's credit, though, his tower still stands, so that's a little bit more work Space Station have to do to bring the Titan lower and lower and make it easier to take. But that also just means that there's plenty more gold to add to Space Station, and unfortunately, at 17 minutes, every bit of the golden experience lead is relevant.
ScaryD between a rock and a hard place here, trying to run away from 4 members. Gonna get taunted here, in a little bit of trouble. Dies.
When you think you might be able to jump away, Athena is there. Taunt you back in, and there's just nowhere to go. They're not even going to go grab that tier 1 tower. Pyromancer being looked at by Jeff. This is him.
Look at the mind games in the duel lane, though.
Saying,
look at BaRRaCCuDDa. He's not going to the laning phase on purpose. Really understands what Zapman wants to do here. Zapman not split pushing by himself here. He understands that the only way Zapman gets back in the game is with that play. JeffHindla taking out Metyankey that was trying to create that buffer space to allow Zap to farm. And now not only is the support going to fall, but literally Zap.
Mask could be in a lot of trouble as well, but he's made it out. Zapman going to be the sacrificial lamb as he ends up falling on the left-hand side. The tier 1 tower in mid and duo were both taken in Trifecta's favor, so that gives them a little bit more gold, but it's going to feel like pennies to the dollar as Spacestation come down and grab the tier 2 towers to instantly recoup those losses.
Playing super safe as Spacestation. They were thinking about going for Fire Chat, but they realized, like, okay, Scary D in the soul lane here. Let's wrap around underneath behind them, find the kill real quick. I think they were really trying to just position themselves for very aggressive warding so that they can get that safe objective. Oh, in the meantime, also with the split push from Zap, they're like, all right, yeah, we got it, 1 kill in 1 side lane. Let's go kind of travel across the world in less than 80 days and kill another one.
Now there are no towers up for Trifecta, and Spacestation still haven't even looked towards the Fire Giant yet. This lead will continue to balloon out of control for the Spacestation boys, and Trifecta tried to find maybe some towers, tried to find some split pushing to keep themselves in it, but repeatedly punished.
19 minutes in here, man. There's not many games, I think, in Season 5 that have been this far blown out of proportion.
It's not as easy anymore.
Definitely not.
To try and get those big leads in this early on, because it's harder. There's buffs up more often, stuff like that. It's just harder to run away with them the way we're seeing now.
And I'm just looking at the God composition here, and I'm like constantly referencing how Spacestation started that dueling. They just constantly really bullied out NeiruMah and Zapman. They were never really in it to start.
No way for them to fight this Fire Giant for Trifecta, so instead we're seeing some split pushing from Zapman. He just needs any farm he can find, pushing up that duo lane and pushing up the mid lane as well was Metyankey, but it's not. It feels like too little too late, doesn't it? 21,000 experience, 18,000 gold. Now Spacestation can start grouping on the solo side and look for this Phoenix, and it would be hard-pressed for Trifecta to defend.
It would be a Christmas miracle and then some for Trifecta to find any defense on the right side. Phoenix. 5 level difference here between the mid laners. 7 between the junglers.
It's too much, but look at Baskin. The desk was saying they didn't want to see much more of this attack speed build, but it is the Hasten Ring that's coming out. Baskin's going to be swinging auto-wise for this soul in the mid lane. Probably a little bit to do with that lead. You can kind of build however he feels like.
Yeah,
sure.
With this lead, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
The mobility is nice also to disengage, specifically from the jungler. Zap is the focus fire. He's in execute threshold. Didn't even need it as Aquarius.
And now trying to land in his answer on the backside. That's going to give him a chance to get some damage on the Scary D, who falls as well. Mask tried to go in and find some enemies in the back line, but no chance for that. Baskin takes down Mask. Phoenix on the right-hand side has already been shredded by Spacestation. With only Metyankey and Neil around, can Spacestation go for the in here? It looks like they're actually going to go for it. Totally.
They're going to try at the very least here. Metyankey does have some bombs right beneath him here. Spacestation, they won 2-1 in week number 1, and they're looking to do it here in the final week.
Yeah, they may have been able to find game 2 to Trifecta, but Spacestation came out and made kind of a statement here. We're not as close as you thought we were. Game 3 goes to Spacestation. Set goes to Spacestation, and they are not going into the land on a loss.
And what a performance here, honestly, here. Really sweeping that game 2 under the rug here.
Oh, they forgot about it.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're Spacestation. We don't just lose like that without putting back a fight in the next game.
No, it kind of felt like they came out and said, all right, you got one, but we're not going to let this one get out of control. Who, though, was your MVP in Game 3 from that Spacestation roster? I don't know. I might have my money on JeffHindla for that one. His Athena was out of this world.
I think the communication from all of Spacestation was top-notch there.
Yeah.
Really being able to ping-pong between mid lane and the dual lane was andinster there. That one time when he was absorbing experience, invading the red buff. Every little thing that Spacestation did, minus that one red buff invade where Baskin died, was A-okay.
Spacestation come out looking like the stronger team in that set. And we are just about done here with week 6. But let's go ahead and break everything down, make sure you know exactly what's going on heading into LAN. And for that, we'll go to the desk.
Thanks a lot, John and Toli. We're about halfway through the day here. We've got a lot more Smite to go on.
Are you... Tom!
What's up?
Pay attention. We're done now. That was it. The first 2 games, that's it. We're done for today. Game 3, when it actually ends, well, we got a lot more games to go. My goodness, I got it from here. You don't even have to talk anymore. 22-3, Spacestation dominant over Trifecta. And sometimes we talk about it a lot with Baskin, at least, where it's sometimes Baskin just does it all by himself. You can play against Spacestation, and then it ends up just being, well, you got Baskin. Well, that game, you just kind of got andinstered.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely what happens here. What were you doing over there? You trying to steal this?
Yeah, I kind of wanted them to go to my single. I wanted them to just keep you out of
this right there.
Entirely. Perfect. Yeah, andinster has got to be the guy for me for Spacestation in that one. JeffHindla also played great, but with all the talk about Baskin, this is kind of exactly what Spacestation needed, I think, going into it, is to have other people step up and be the dudes for them. This game, it was andinster and JeffHindla, with Jeff being your MVP for Game 3, and well-deserved for as great as andinster's scoreline was. Jeff was right there setting up everything. 2-0 and 18. That's incredible. That's insane. Wow, I thought I was going to be able to do it all by myself. Thank you, production.
That's my bit. I do that every time.
What?
Kills, deaths, and assists. I do that every time we have a victory.
I don't know.
You've just internalized my greatness. It's all right. And that's what the rest of Spacestation Gaming seemingly have done with this squad. Passing over some of the greatness to Aquarius and then andinster. This was kind of the Spacestation I expected to see from the beginning. andinster running things through the jungle, Jeff setting everybody up, and everything else sort of falling into place. We got the Baskin show instead of the andinster show, but this is a very nice look because across all games, whether it's Smite, basketball, or otherwise, I mentioned because we're in the NBA playoffs, you see teams that play through one individual, and then you see teams that have two equally superstar options, and that becomes a team that ain't nobody want to play against. Baskin and andinster both being able to step up and be the guy. I'm glad I'm not a player.
And it's before you talk about BaRRa or Jeff or how well Aquarius has played. And that's, the Spacestation is the North American Warriors right now, right? They are the Golden State Warriors in our league, at least in North America, where it's you look at them and you're like, really? You had to team up with all of those dudes? Like, that's not even fair.
You say that, but actually I want to give a special nod out to Spacestation. They're actually the Utah Jazz. Pairing up with the Utah Jazz.
That was good looks.
Yeah, they have a partnership with them, not just a 2K team, like branding in the stadium, just crazy stuff.
Awesome.
Really nice to see a hometown team. Spacestation Gaming, Shondoras, they started here in Smite.
Yeah.
They got teams all around, and they're knocking up with NBA. I'm down. Shout out to those guys. They're on top of the game as well. Number 1 for the black and gold here, United. Number 2, they'll be heading to LAN. Rival and Dignitas across the pond will be coming here to America for LAN as well.
You know how, for as much crap as HindlaMan gave me on Esports Weekly for my predictions, you know who was correct on all 4 LAN teams coming into today?
Anatoly?
No, Anatoly doesn't do the pick segment. He does the moment of Toly towards the end of the show. There's only 3 of us up here on the desk normally to do the picks.
John Finch?
No, it's me, and then
Zactic?
No. HindlaMan sits here. What? And then Taco sits. Get me out of here, dude. We're on our nonsense, and I can't handle it anymore.
Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday night. It's been a wonderful 6 weeks of the spring split. Not next week, but we've got the LAN coming up. You want to watch that. Minor League this weekend. On behalf of everyone here and everyone not here, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.